Alexandria, Kentucky. These basketball officials were beaten up by a coach and a group of 7th graders with folding chairs. Sacramento, California. A coach caught on tape pushing a referee to the ground at a game for young boys. Are the stakes in kids' sports so high that violence has become an accepted part of the game? And why are the referees the targets? Watch what happened in Spokane, Washington. Referee Bob West was officiating a high school wrestling match in January of 1996. The playoff contest between Chad Hildebrandt and Josh Kelp was tense to begin with, and it reached an ugly end. Chad became enraged when he lost.
Hildebrandt was placed on his back and he was pinned. He jumped up immediately after getting pinned and threw his shoulder against the West Valley contestant. I stepped in between and said, "That's enough. That just cost you a team point." And as I turned to the coach like this and looked at the coach, he headbutted me in the left temple and knocked me out completely.
West was out cold for several minutes, suffered a concussion, and says he now lives with chronic back pain. Chad Hildebrandt served 30 days in jail for the attack, his 3rd conviction for 4th-degree assault.
Have the baselines, the yard lines, the goal lines become the battle lines these days for officials like you?
I think it's becoming that way, and the term "kill the ref," that's no longer just a joke. Some of these things are being acted out.
Game started off pretty much like any baseball game would.
The term "kill the umpire" is no joke to Cody Canese. When he was only 16, he was beaten unconscious while officiating a baseball game in Loveland, Colorado, a small city north of Denver.
Did they think this could happen here? An umpire beaten unconscious?
Not in Little Loveland, Colorado. They didn't think it would happen.
But the wave of violence against sports officials has even targeted kids. And while 16 may sound young, children as young as 12 are officiating games all over the country. In July of 1996, Cody was head umpire at a playoff game between rival teams of 15 to 18-year-olds. Joe Ybarra was a player who felt the pressure and needed to win.
Like, to me, baseball was like my life. You know, with other people, you may think that it's just a sport, but like for me, I thought it was like all my life what I wanted to do. You know, you can't tell someone, you know, like, don't take it too seriously.
But things turned serious fast when Coach Charles Seward contested a call at third base.
He ran out of the dugout throwing things. He threw his jacket off, and he ran out screaming like I had never seen him before.
Like his coach, Joe Ybarra and some of his teammates raced out of the dugout and joined the raging argument over the controversial call.
I was so frustrated, so mad. I mean, I couldn't even think straight.
Adrenaline's pumping. Everybody's, you know, just haywire.
With the field in chaos, Cody ended the game. Coach Seward's team was declared the loser.
Cody threw his hands up. He was walking away from me. He threw his hands up, and he said, "The game's over." Like that, and I said, "No, Cody, it's not over."
So I turned around, like so, facing Coach Seward, and he pushed me.
I may have pushed Cody. I didn't push him on purpose.
And right as he pushed me back, one of the players hit me.
Where?
Right across the face.
I got so mad, I lost control. I went and I hit him.
Cody fell over, and then you saw people stomping on his chest and people hitting his face when he was down.
And I could see, 4 or 5 members of the opposing team just, kicking them and yelling at them and just beating them.
911, do you have an emergency?
Yes, I do. We have a game that has gone out of control, and the team is beating up on another team. Someone is hurt.
I was knocked unconscious, and I woke up with the paramedics standing over me and blood all over the place.
Cody received stitches in his mouth and treatment for bruises and chest pain.
I knew I was wrong after I hit him.
It was more than you could take.
Yeah.
To lose the game.
Yeah, it was a lot more.
What happened to sportsmanship, where the umpire is right, where the coaches support the umpire above all else? What happened that night to sportsmanship?
I think that question applies everywhere in this country. What's happened to sportsmanship in the United States in every sport?
Sportsmanship is looked upon as being something of an extinct concept.
Rick Wolf writes books on the psychology of kids and sports. His columns on the subject appear frequently on the pages of Sports Illustrated magazine.
Do you believe this?
Wolf says the pros
And fists are flying at the
set a disturbing standard.
And now the teams are converging, and this may get ugly. Look at that jerk, just sickening. That's a disgrace.
You have to understand that these kids are going to come back to you as they get older and say, I don't understand. How come this professional basketball player can practically choke his coach and still be in the league? How come this famous Major League ball player can spit at an umpire and really not be punished? And that's where the kids pick up on it and begin to realize, okay, so I did something wrong, I hit the referee or attacked the umpire, so what? No big deal.
This baseball game in the Midwest was going along fine for the kids. Until some parents became the bad sports. Jim Pickett tried to break up the fight.
My reactions to the incident was just a sickening feeling in my stomach to have these kids out there playing and it being spoiled by some parents that just don't know how to act.
He's got a big...
Parents today lose perspective that they're the grown-up. Kids' sports are about kids.
Try telling that to some parents in Indianapolis.
Left side! Get it!
This championship Pee Wee football game was high stakes for them, but not for the kids.
We were just trying to have fun and play a little silly game that doesn't even mean nothing. We were just trying to have fun.
The fun ended when some fans on the sideline started protesting calls. Referees David Hampton and Kevin Hillis tried to keep order, but some parents got out of control.
Fighting, arguing, and cussing each other. It just wasn't right.
Suddenly, I heard someone fall to the ground, and I looked, and the ref was on the ground, and this guy was really mad, trying to get down on the ground and start punching the ref.
Referee David Hampton says it was the father of a player who struck him, although the parent says he was unfairly charged.
I was terrified. I was not sure whether or not I was going to get kicked while I was on the ground.
It was a near riot situation. People, screaming and hollering and, and inciting each other. To be quite honest, it's a good thing the police got here when they did.
When I arrived, we had 23 officers from 6 different agencies here to try to quell the problem. And the parents were the ones out of control, and the kids just wanted to play ball.
It just ruined football. And it ruined football for me.
As kids get older, it can be difficult to hold on to the ideals of sportsmanship when some adults around them do not.
Throw the ball! Hey, what's with you?
It's a serious game, but you gotta remember it's still a game. They need to be more respectful to one another. I don't see that a lot.
She's an incredible young lady.
Add to the mix the golden opportunities that await talented kids who show promise on the playing field.
Anthony, you gotta get that ball in open space, Anthony. Anthony! Come on, Ed. Anthony!
It's no wonder that sometimes the pressure can mount for kids, even if parents and coaches don't mean for that to happen.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Even though these moms and dads, for the most part, are good people, they're bright, God-fearing folks, they begin to let their own emotions run away with their expectations and hopes for their child. And that's when we really have problems in terms of frustration, and occasionally outbursts of aggression will take place.
In many places, a campaign has begun to bring sportsmanship back to kids' sports.
Good game. Good game. You play great.
Where does it say in the rule books? Go out and abuse an umpire. It doesn't. No.
Outside Toronto, umpire Nikki Ross is teaching adults to be more civilized at games for the kids.
I think it's really very important that parents realize that their job at these games is to sit, support, cheer, and be quiet.
You stink, you're a strawberry! I hate you! You cannot umpire!
In case they don't behave, Ross runs another group. This one for the 150 youngsters who worked with her as umpires.
This is where you guys have to use the firmness of your voice.
At her boot camp, kids are drilled
Take control of the situation right there.
and drilled again
If I'm going to go to the game, I'm going to do this. Turn and walk away.
to be ready for anything.
You know what? He just abused you when you were so stupid you didn't even realize it.
Coach? Sportsmanship above all else. If there's a problem...
Many veteran referees like Bob West, who know firsthand what it's like to be assaulted, hope that public awareness will help put an end to violence on the playing field. But experts say the problem goes far beyond what happens in the sports arena.
It is an extension of society. Society has become much more lax about miscreants and criminals and things that people get away with. And so if you can get away with it in real life, get away with it in sports as well. Simple as that.
In Colorado, both Coach Seward and Joe Ybarra were fined and required to perform community service for their role in the attack against umpire Cody Canese. But by far the worst punishment for them is that they are now banned for life from the baseball fields in Loveland.
We took that game too seriously. I still think about that now, you know.
Joe Ybarra hopes the future will bring him a contract with the pros. But one night of amateur baseball may have changed that forever. Now his field of dreams is in his driveway.
A couple minutes changed, like I said, it changed my life bad. And I regret it.
After the attack on Cody, 35 young umpires quit working games in Loveland. But Cody Canese has returned to the diamond with this warning.
It could happen anywhere, small towns to large cities. So if things are getting out of hand in your ballpark, stand by, keep your eyes out, because things like this will happen, and it'll come out of nowhere, and it'll come out of nowhere in your town